Heard of this sound before? If you did, then you've come across an electric car sharing service in Singapore. In this video, I'll be going through my experience of driving this car and my overall thoughts of whether it's worth renting them or not. If you'd like to find out more about what is it like driving this car, watch this video. Or if you've already been renting this car, let me know if you agree with my experience.
Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys my experience of driving the BlueSG car. So you might have seen my previous video, 1-minute video about sustainability and driving sustainably using the BlueSG cars. So I'll be covering the price and the rental coverage and my overall driving experience and whether it's worth driving in the long term or not.
First, let's talk about the price. It costs 36 cents per minute or $21.60 per hour to rent this car. It may seem rather high compared to other car rental companies which uses traditional combustion engines, but if we include petrol costs, then the prices would be about the same. We don't have to worry about the minimum rental, no deposit, no mileage, no petrol costs, no insurance or whatsoever. BlueSG cars are special because they allow you to start and end a rental from one point to another point, which can be your destination, compared to other car rental companies which typically require you to start and end a rental at the same point where you pick up the vehicle.
So I think it can be a plus point to take BlueSG cars compared to taking Grab, which can turn out to be slightly cheaper, especially during the Grab search period. But it can also mean that we need to compete with other users during the peak period, and sometimes there are just no cars available. I will cover more on the rental coverage later on.
So there are two price plans to be on. There's a monthly $8 one, which the first month is free for new subscribers, and the $18 per month one. Both plans allow you to rent the cars at 36 cents per minute, but the $18 one comes with 45 minutes of free rental per month, which works out to be about 40 cents per minute. It comes with a 6 months renewal commitment though, so I signed up for the free first month one to try them out.
So BlueSG doesn't have a day rate, but they do have like 3-hour, 4-hour packages which you can rent the entire vehicle for about $45 for the 3-hour package, which is quite good for a rental coverage, especially if you want to just drive around. Like now when we are going to Sentosa and we want to see some houses and maybe stop along the way and not necessarily end the rental, because if you end the rental there, then someone might rent the vehicle and then we might be like so-called stranded on the island. But BlueSG cars are designed for point-to-point traveling anyway, so actually it's not so designed for renting the entire vehicle. But anyway, it's still quite good to have this option. So I'm still a bit unclear about the insurance terms and how much would it cost if I get into an accident. So generally I want to drive very defensively, don't want to get into an accident. It is a black box of costs and losses. So when I rent these vehicles, I try to drive very carefully, even though rental is like by the minute, but you rather drive conservatively than to incur a huge loss just because you're trying to save a few minutes.
Next, we'll talk about rental coverage and support. Generally with BlueSG rentals, I could cut my travelling time by half if where I want to go has a BlueSG rental station, even if I factor in a few minutes of walking time. It is also good for me to go cross-island like from Changi to Jurong or from Bukit Panjang to Sengkang, because travelling by the road is more time efficient compared to trains and buses. I find that the coverage is generally good in residential areas, but there are no rental stations in some interesting places like Changi Beach, where I can take the bumboat to Pulau Ubin, or at some nature reserves like Sungai Buloh Nature Reserve, which is a nice place to go to see mangroves and birds. I would also like to see more rental stations along East Coast Park, which is a long stretch along the coast. On the weekend, however, these cars are on high demand, so sometimes I can't even book a car because there are none available at a rental station nearest to me. So sometimes we travel out to a further station just to get a car. Starting and ending a rental is fast and easy with clear picture guides, and I could also reserve cars up to 30 minutes before heading down and the parking lots for my destination to confirm the drive.
So I wish that I can actually use my phone to scan the rental station, just like how when I go to Sheng Siong, I still can pay my bills using the built-in card on Apple Pay. But unfortunately, I think this system is a bit outdated, that I still need to use a physical card, so I find it quite inconvenient. So if I can actually use my phone, then I can practically just go out with my phone and not bring my wallet anymore. So I wish that they would actually build this feature. Generally, the app works fine. The support hotline is quite responsive, but it can get quite crowded during the peak hour when I need to wait a few minutes. But other than that, if I need any other support, the chat message is also responsive, usually within 1 to 2 working days.
Next, let's talk about my driving experience. The car drives well on the expressway with sufficient acceleration and brake power, so I can overtake cars with no problems. But sometimes the brake can squeak a little on some of the units that I rent, and the pedals are a little too stiff for my liking.
For the battery wise, I think it lasts quite long. There was once when I did a 3-hour drive, nearly a 3-hour drive with some stops along the way, and it used up about 50% of the battery only. So generally I don't feel any range anxiety, which refers to feeling anxious because you're afraid that you don't have enough battery to reach home. But I think that these cars charge quite quickly, so most of the time when I get these vehicles, the batteries are about 80 to 90% already. One downside, and I find it annoying, is that I still need a cash card to go into car parks sometimes. Sometimes the cash card has some error for some unknown reason, and then I need to use my cash card and then claim back from BlueSG. It would be amazing if you can enter every single car park in Singapore without using any cash card. And if you really need to pay for parking, it would be nice to just include it into the rental price automatically. So there was once when I entered a car park without bringing a cash card, and I couldn't exit because I don't have a cash card. But luckily, after flipping through my wallet and Natasha's wallet, we found a card that we can top up to use the Nets cash card.
Nets Flash Pay.
Yeah, there's like Nets Flash Pay, but it's still a physical card. For me, I feel that if everything can be consolidated in just one mobile phone, that would be so convenient, without bringing a wallet and bringing all these multiple cards. So don't make the same mistake as I did. Always bring a cash card. For now, I hope that they roll out a feature one day that we don't actually need to use a cash card anymore.
Finally, I will share my user experience inside the car.
So this vehicle has quite a nice wide-angle view, and I can see things fairly clearly. But one annoying thing I find about this is that I need to manually turn on the aircon over here just by pressing this button every single time I enter the vehicle. And it will also be nice if I can get a free phone holder for every vehicle. So because there isn't one for every vehicle, I have to bring my own one over here. I'm gonna put this here and stop recording. How does it look? Eh! Do you stop recording?
No.
Do you shoot it like drop?
Probably. I don't know.
And the stickiness is already coming out because I keep sticking and unsticking too many times already. So it'll be really nice if every vehicle is equipped with one, so I can just conveniently put on one, especially since some drivers like me are quite inexperienced with navigation, so we really need to depend on our phones for navigation. For the touchscreen, my experience is quite mixed. For some vehicles, the touchscreen is responsive, but for others, it's not, so I can't really listen to the radio. But for this one, luckily, it's quite responsive. But overall, in terms of space, I find it quite spacious for a 1.8 meter guy like me. I can stretch my legs, and I can extend the seat. I can change the length of the steering wheel, and even though it's like a 2-car door only, but I feel it's quite spacious behind also, where I can put my bag over there, and I think I can even fit 2 more passengers. And there's even a boot to store bulky items. And in future, if I go to IKEA to buy something, I'll probably need to use the boot. Okay. Stop recording.
So I think that BlueSG cars are pretty good to rent, especially if I want to travel out to somewhere further out, which may take a little longer to get there via trains and buses, and if I want to save time or just enjoy driving.
Yeah. Where are we now? We are at the
Sentosa
Cove
Jetty.
Yep.
So I think that it drives pretty fast. It's quite cheap compared to other car rental companies, and it actually is quite fun to drive these light vehicles too. But I still don't see it viable yet as driving for the long term regularly due to the irregular supply of cars at the rental stations near me. Because unlike trains and buses, which will come every 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, sometimes there are just no BlueSG cars available at the car rental stations. So hopefully they would increase the supply of fleet of cars soon and become more of a true car as a service model that is available 24/7. So let me know in the comments below about what you think. If you have any questions about my experience, let me know too in the comments below, and I look forward to see you in my next video.